former Public Service Minister, Labour and Social Welfare Minister, Honorable Patrick Zhuwao, former minister, sometime in 2017, asked NASA to release funds for national housing projects that had the potential of fleecing NASA of millions of dollars. Circumstances are that, upon his appointment as minister, Honorable Zhuwao, through the NASA board, ordered that the authority avail $78 million for national housing projects. Of that total, $16.2 million was paid to a company called NSSA, which is owned by one indigenous person called Mr. Tinashe Neta. The money was for the construction of 600 housing units on a 24-hectare plot in Zhuwao, Harare. The cost of building materials for this construction of these housing units was $4.57 million, with the remainder, $12 million, being labor costs. The land in question was sold by the Minister of Local Government, Public Works and National Housing in September 2015, and the asking price at that time was $334,800. The offer was given to a company called Drepmesh Construction, whose directors were Junior Zhuwao Gumbochuma and Mr. Katurudza. These two people did not pay anything towards the purchase of this land. Some of the anomalies in the Zhuwao housing project include the following. The project was awarded to NSSA without going to tender, $16.2 million. The developer did not pay the 1.620 performance bond that was required by the National Building Society before the funds could be released. Some ministry officials reportedly ordered the release of the money without the performance bond. NSSA reportedly paid $2.2 million to Mrs. Gumbochuma for the purchase of the land, whose purchase price from the ministry in October, when Minister Zhuwao was now the Minister of Labour and Social Welfare, was $410,000. This purchase was not done by Mrs. Gumbochuma. National Building Society paid for the land on behalf of Mrs. Gumbochuma. There were no certificates of compliance from the Surveyor General's office or the Harare City Council. We're talking about the designs, water reticulation systems, and the subdivision permits. The housing units, we are told, may be substandard, and an indication that the contractor may not have done a very smart job. Upon the completion of this project, NSSA was to surrender the houses to NBS. The houses built on land bought by NBS for Mrs. Gumbochuma. But that was not the only project that Minister Zhuwao, when he was Minister of Labour, presided over. He also ordered the NASA to release $18 million to a project in Caledonia, fronted by a company called the Housing Corporation of Africa, owned by Mr. Adam Molai as one of the directors. You probably know Mr. Adam Molai is the son-in-law to the First Family, former First Family. The same thing with this project. The land was purchased by NBS, National Building Society, on behalf of the developer, Housing Africa Consortium. The third project was a project in Mutare. It was given to a company called Globeni Construction. The owners of this company have never built houses before. Without going to tender, they were paid $11 million in advance. Just like Housing Corporation of Africa was paid $80 million in advance, they were paid $11 million. Now, with the Mutare project, the bricks were to be supplied by a man called Robert Zhuwao. An order of $2 million was given to him to supply 2 million bricks. You know who Robert Zhuwao is. He's the minister Zhuwao's young brother. He did not supply 2 million bricks. He supplied only 200,000. Up to date, NBS have not sued for the money they paid in advance to a company called Botwell Investments, which is owned by Robert Zhuwao. Now, what is very clear and very intriguing is that National Building Society is not in the business of buying land on behalf of private people, then signing contracts with those private people to build houses for them. This matter should have gone to tender. There is also an amount of $2.2 million that was paid by National Building Society to a company called Premier Link Services. This company has no history of housing development, and even after being paid $2.2 million, when asked why did they pay Premier Link Services, they said they paid them to hold on to the money so that whenever they wanted something bought, they could use that $2.2 million to buy them for them. And then this company does not seem to have offices. The Minister of Local Government had approved the lease not to Mike Mbochuma, but to Drepmesh Construction. But in October 2017, when Minister Zhuwao was now the minister, some senior official in that ministry ordered a deputy director to write a letter that the government had given this land to Mrs. Gumbochuma. And she used that letter to negotiate a contract with Enphrase, where she was paid $2.5 million. What is also very intriguing is that in terms of planning regulations in this country, there is no planning authority that was given for the design of the roads, water reticulation plans, and any other designs which are desired by the law. They just started building houses and nobody questioned them. The Surveyor General did not approve the building plans, neither did the Surveyor General approve the subdivisions. This is what happened in respect of the Zarasekwa project, but it also happened at Caledonia, where the land, after being bought by National Building Society for Housing Corporation of Africa, they never got authority from regulatory authorities, from the council or from the Surveyor General. In the case of the Mutare thing, the land there as well was bought by NBS for some private individuals. And then no planning authority or permission was granted to them. They just built the houses. Now, we don't know whether those houses are substandard or they are shoddy.